if you learn to utilize these things and use it in your business, it will transform your business and you will be ahead of the curve. Don't wait till you're behind the curve to start learning it. You may can choose how much you want to implement it, but understand what is available to you, because that is going to be the secret sauce. That is how you are going to beat out the next people who are not even paying attention to this right now. Welcome to another Real Estate First Friday. My name is Matthew Hodge, Executive Vice President here at WT Realty. I'm joined by Louis Fermin, my co-EVP. Brother, how are you?
I am doing great. It is spring break here in Florida. We have a little bit of extra traffic on our side of town.
We do. We have a whole lot of extra. So for people who don't live in an area where it's high tourism, certain times of year, things get like completely wonky here. So, here in Florida, spring break for the entire probably month of March and a portion of April go pretty crazy, because you've got all these people, these foreigners coming in who want to go to the beaches or they want to go to the theme parks. And while we don't experience that like on a normal basis, or we even think about theme parks on a normal basis, all that additional traffic is pretty wild to feel that influx, which is a great marketing for people who want to move to Florida. So we are always thinking about real estate and how to get to them. Just want to throw that out there.
I think the audience is thinking like, man, is that one of their planned nuggets that they had for today's show? Like talk through like the infrastructure of Florida.
Yeah, no, we just went completely off the rails there. All right, well, let's bring in Barry Jenkins. We have Barry Jenkins with us today, who, if you do not know him, you absolutely should. He teaches actually another class with us bi-weekly basis, showcase, where he's talking about some of the additional tools that we've got in our arsenal and how to position those things, how to script talk them, and then how to utilize those for your benefits. So you'll see him next week, Thursday, if you haven't had an opportunity to attend that showcase mastermind. But today we are talking through some different things. So Barry, I'll turn it over to you. Give us what are we discussing today, and why is it important for agents?
Well, we're discussing AI. It's a topic that continues to amaze me, overwhelm me, and I'm consistently humbled by it. You think about in our country specifically, power and water, we're used to it. And for a lot of people's lives, not everybody, but for a lot of us, you're used to going into a room, flipping a switch on, and the lights turn on, or you go to your faucet and you turn it on and the water's there. It's become a commodity. Information in our society in the history of time has never been a commodity until now, to where you literally can know how to do and learn whatever you want, however you want, and build all kinds of things just by typing in some words. And so the opportunity in front of us, I see it as a gold rush, and I really want to empower everybody here today on Real Estate First Friday, thinking about it a little bit differently.
That's awesome. That's actually, I have not thought about it that way, in the sense that you're right. I guess probably the first iteration of that was YouTube. Like YouTube was the first time where you could say, hey, I want to learn how to cook something or install something, and potentially you could find it. It's much more robust now than it was when the database was brand new, but you can pretty much go on there and find anything. Like, hey, I want to learn how to, install my radio. And so that kind of became the first, but that's not what you're talking about now, because AI is actually taking that to another level, where you could say, hey, I need you to help me write out this business plan. I need you to help me write out this marketing campaign, or teach me how to do X, Y, Z. And it really is interesting on how you can receive that information now in comparison than you did in the past, where it was invisible. You couldn't find that.
Absolutely. And I actually, one of the things that I've been trying to help agents across the country realize, and I'm going to show you guys some really cool stuff, by the way, that I'm doing, that everybody on today can just kind of take off a shelf and start doing as well to grow their business. But one of the things that I've been telling agents across the country is that you really need to have a heightened self-awareness with regards to what your business needs are. We've always, as an industry, had shiny syndrome, like, shiny toy syndrome, like new toy, new influencer promoting this. Like, if I was to ask all the people watching right now, how many times we've seen an Instagram video for a new app or a service and we downloaded it and we never used it, most of us would say, yep, that's me, because we get excited about stuff. And it easily can become a distraction. And so before I show you guys some cool stuff to do, one of the things that I really want you to start to think through is to have a practice each week of saying, what are the areas in my business that are deficient? What are the areas I can be grateful for? And start to slot these cool toys into what do I need right now? How can I sell more houses? We're here for Real Estate First Friday, right? And so, having that mindset of how can I help the people in my database buy and sell more homes? And then what tools help me to accomplish that? It quiets the noise and it allows us to double down on what's working, which really is the idea. Wouldn't you agree?
100%. Yeah. And that's the thing is like, as we're searching for maybe some things to improve our business, sometimes we get off of the rails a little bit. Like you're like, hey, what I need is X. And you start adding things to your business that you don't really need. But I think if you ask that fundamental question, how do I help more people either buy or sell real estate? Like, what are the tools that support that particular function? Then it's going to give you a much clearer answer and allow you to really kind of decide what makes sense for you to implement inside your business and what you don't.
And then what's interesting as well is that sometimes we don't even think through the tools that even possibly exist. I spoke to an agent the other day and they told me, it's like, I didn't even realize that tools existed that would help me with this piece of my business.
Right.
And I think that's what's going to be fascinating on today's Real Estate First is, Barry, I think you have some tools that you're going to share with the audience today that can help them build certain aspects of their business that they can implement immediately, that some of them may not even be thinking that they could do this.
This is a buddy of mine, Phil Stringer, actually showed me this service. It's called Buyer Prediction. I think they allow you one report free, but if you're going on a listing appointment, you can come in here and put in the address, put in the price point, if there's anything specific about the home, and then you just click submit. What it does is it actually grabs the ideal buyer persona for the property. So it gives you an overview. It tells you, demographic information, who the most likely buyer is going to be for the home, the psychological profile of that buyer, the motivations of the buyer, what they're looking for, concerns, pain points. Now, like when you're looking at this isn't like, oh, I wasn't going to be able to find a buyer for the listing, but now I read this demographic information and now I'm able to. That's not the play here. Okay. You guys are excellent at using, all of the listing collateral that LPT provides. You nail it. But when we are meeting with a seller, it's important to try to set ourselves apart. And one of the ways that you can align yourself with a potential seller is to say, I deeply understand the buyer. So this workflow, what I recommend is you just kind of copy it, just hit Control A, right click, and then go into a service that I really, really like a lot called Gamma. And with Gamma, all you do, let me new tab to the right. Oh, no, let me duplicate actually. Oh, I don't want to show you guys what I'm doing, showing you next. All right. So what you can do is Gamma is a presentation tool that allows you to create all kinds of presentations, right? And so what I did was I took this buyer prediction of what they're looking for. I went into Gamma and just simply typed in, create a buyer presentation for, a buyer demographic presentation to a potential seller. I'm a real estate agent and I want you to create this presentation. And you can see, you just kind of come in here in the chat. Let me move this up a little bit. And you would type it right here, like what you're looking for. You can see I just copied the entire page, and it creates a presentation. Who's your ideal buyer? All these graphics were done automatically. Like I didn't do any of this. I didn't do any of the spacing. Let's see if it's created a new page for us. So I can, let me just go to a new Gamma page. Create new, paste in text, click presentation, paste it in, generate from notes or an outline, continue to prompt editor. And we're going to see what the version that it creates. Let's click generate. Let's just see what it makes. What I did was I like the color blue. I like the black background. And so I edited mine just to make it look a little bit better. But you're watching in real time as the Gamma website. I didn't give it any direction. I didn't say like, here's my company logo. Here's the colors that I want. This is just doing what it thinks it should be done. And you're watching, right now it's loading a graphic that it thinks is appropriate. And so to me, this is something that you could kind of bring along with you to say, look, I deeply understand what a buyer is looking for in our neighborhood. Let me go over, my listing paperwork or my listing presentation booklet. If you're not buying the booklet in LPT Connect, to me, having that printed collateral alongside kind of a digital presentation like this, to me, it's just a game changer because the printed collateral goes over all of your nuts and bolts of your business. It's something you can leave behind. Like the biggest flex I had was like the seller was like, where's your card? I'm like, that book is my card. So you hand them that, and then you go over here and let's see if it's loaded any pictures yet. I forgot to switch over to my So you see, like these are good pictures. It's appropriate, and you can go through here and say, look, I understand that the buyer's looking for a family-friendly community. What buyers in this area are going to worry about: flooding and weather risks, maintenance costs, insurance. Here's how I'm going to address the flood insurance complexity of a buyer worried about this area. I have a partnership with an insurance agent. He's going to pull a clue report, and it's going to show all the flood claims on the property. So any buyers that are worried about anything, they're going to know that you haven't had any flood issues. So this is just stuff that other listing agents aren't doing. And the fact that I did it in like 15 seconds, it's kind of a game changer.
So when I think about tools like this, I think about these things that enhance your ability to go out there and show your abilities that are different than what other agents are, even if you're saying the same thing, you're showing up in a way that's differently. You're showing up in a way that's more prepared. And that a lot of time gets you the business. At the end of the day, there's a couple different ways that you can sell houses, right? Like you're going to create exposure for it. You're going to put in the MLS. You're hopefully going to do something where you are, boosting it through some third-party portals. You're going to hold open houses. You're going to send mail. Like there's only so many social media. Like there's only so many things you can actually do. So then how do you describe those functions to the seller in a way that helps them understand the benefit of those things? And that's what you talk about a lot. And that's what I see this as, is like your ability to describe these things in a way that's different than other agents. And it's not something that takes a lot of time from you. You go on there, you put this information in there, it spits us out. Don't rely on that as the magic pill that's just going to get you the business, because it won't. But it's a great supporting tool to say, hey, here's how I understand the market. Here's the people I'm searching for. Here's the things that we're going to be working through. And, I think it's genius. So thank you so much for sharing.
And because of how convenient it is, it's like, why not have it with
Correct.
you? It's like you literally went to one website, put in an address, it spit you a buyer profile, a predictable buyer profile. You stuck that into a prompt in another software and it spit you out a presentation.
Yeah.
Imagine showing up to your listing presentation, you do the usual, your introductions, you tour the home, you show the CMAs, you now are clicking over to LPT, you showcase the power pack, you have your active marketing plan, your 9 critical questions, and then you have on display like just this item that can just be as a support for you. To your point, it enhances your business. Like you are showing up there so differently. And again, it's so convenient. So why not bring it with you?
Exactly.
I would also just like to add one piece to it. There was a survey that went out, and this was happening. NAR did it pretty much every year. But around the time that the NAR settlement was happening, I thought it would be really interesting to see what consumers valued from an agent. And so they had this poll that went out every single year that basically surveyed consumers and find out what is the most important attributes or the skill sets that you want from an agent. And so for many years, people were like, oh, it's negotiations. It's so, like, it wasn't that. The number one thing was marketing. That stayed pretty much consistent all the way through. And what started to come up on a little bit higher of a scale recently was experience. Like they wanted things to be smoothed out a little bit than that hadn't shown up on the previous report. But exposure and expertise were your number one thing, or number 1 and 2 things that sellers want from you. So if you think about that, if that's what the consumer is asking for, hey, I want someone who's going to create the most amount of exposure for my house, and I want somebody who's got the most amount of expertise in my area. Like, in my opinion, when you go back to that first thesis statement, which is how am I going to help people do more real estate, buy and sell more real estate? What's the tools that support that? Things like this, then become very glaringly obvious. Like, this is the type of things that you invest in. These are the type of things that you add to your business to support the same thing that the consumer is saying that they want from your agents. They want you to be an expert in the area, and they want you to have the maximum exposure for their property.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and these are all subtle things, you know what I mean? And people are asking how we present this. I recommend having the printed collateral, having the listing presentation created from LPT. That's our staple. That's how we go over the process. And then when we get into custom stuff, like a buyer buyer demographic information and how I'm in touch with buyers in that area, how I leverage Zillow Showcase. And I have a recent Zillow Showcase listing where I show that we doubled the saves for that market as a result of using that Zillow product. When I have custom data like that, I'm putting that into a PDF or specifically into a Keynote presentation. Keynote is Apple's not as cool slides or not as cool PowerPoint. And the reason why we like Keynote is it comes with a free remote. So you can hand the seller the iPad and then you can run the presentation from your iPhone. And I mean, honestly, I feel like I could have pictures of fruit and hand my iPad to them and they would still be impressed because I'm controlling the iPad from my iPhone. It's just kind of like it just looks, it's a good look, right? And it helps people. All right, you guys ready for the next cool thing?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes, sir. By the way, you have a compliment in the chat. Eric said that he's glad to see that you're here. Just joined LPT and feels totally reassured that the amazing Barry Jenkins is here with him.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear it. And welcome. You made the right decision for sure. All right. So I took into my MLS this survey, right? Just market data around a house in Virginia Beach. And I put it, I've been using Claude a lot more. I've been using it for about 60 days now. And I said, need to make this pretty. And I need it so that it can be picture-in-picture video where this is in the background and my face is in the front. So it created this, right? Created a picture. It actually created HTML. And then I said, convert it to PDF. So then I downloaded it. And I can't make it big, but, wait. Yeah. So this is what it looks like. You can tell the spacing's a little bit off. I'd probably fix that before I use it. But this is what it made off of that data in about 30 seconds. From there, I uploaded it into a service called HeyGen, and I created a couple of videos.
All right. I'll admit this is a little weird. You're watching an AI version of me talk about me. And yes, before you ask, I am better looking in real life, but only by a little. But here's the real point. LPT is one of the few brands actually focused on real estate first. Not distractions, not noise, just helping agents sell more homes. And this is leverage. Imagine sending a personalized video to every new lead in your database without recording it every time. Imagine listing presentations where you follow up with a custom recap video like this, or nurturing cold leads at scale while still feeling personal. This isn't replacing you, it's multiplying you. Use tools like this the right way, and you don't just save time, you create more conversations. And more conversations turn into closings.
So that's fun. What I did next was I went into HeyGen, and I went into where they have a PDF upload tool. And I uploaded a PDF into HeyGen. And then I went to ChatGPT. HeyGen gave me a script, and I'll show you what HeyGen came up with off of the PDF that I created in Claude. And I said, give this script some sexy angles and personality, as if I'm sending it to my sphere. So this is what HeyGen came up with in March 2026 with 2.25 mile radius, 5308 Summer Crescent, right? So it was kind of like not fun. Then it gave me a few different versions. And this is the one I copied. So I right-clicked on it. I went back to HeyGen and I asked it to create a video. And so imagine sending this out to a local market, right?
This surprised me. In one small pocket around Summer Crescent, nearly 1,000 homes sold in March, $194 million in sales. Average home took 46 days. But the real headline, the $200K to $250K range is on fire. That's where the action is. That's where buyers are competing. So if you've been waiting for the right time, you might already be in it.
So much that I didn't like about either of those videos. Both of them took 10 minutes. Okay? Like, I'm just saying, like there's little things that, like, if I was to send it out, I would work on, like how he said $200. Like I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. But I'm sharing these really neat ideas with you guys to show you really quick, really interesting things that you all should be doing. Now, inevitably, we've got some people saying, wow, that's AI. This is incredible. What's the website? Get out of town. So I taught myself how to use HeyGen on a Saturday afternoon. Now, when I'm learning something new, I have AI teach me how to do it. And a lot of times, guys, I'll just say, I need you to teach me, like a 14-year-old that has never used AI before, how to use. And then the website, for those of you that are asking, is HeyGen. And then as I start to use it, I'll put this in the chat so you guys have it. I get to a page. I'm like, I don't know what to do. So you know what I do? I screenshot the page. I upload the screenshot into the thread of chat. I use ChatGPT normally, and I upload it into ChatGPT, and I say, hey, I'm on this screen. I don't know what to do next. And it just tells me what to do next. And then I say, okay, great. I did that. Here's the next screen. What do I do? And it's in real time teaching me how to use new tools. So when I tell you guys that information has now become a commodity, you have the ability in real time to do whatever you want. The goal for me today is to, 1, expand your horizon, 2, have you do more assessments in your workflows. Where is your business lacking right now? Michelle said, am I going to get a recording? I need something to do with my Saturday afternoon.
Yes, this is recorded and put inside of Connect. You can go there and actually see all of the previous Real Estate First Fridays. So every single one is recorded and put there within 24 hours. So if you are looking for a little light video watching tomorrow, it will be available for you. This is crazy, man. Like, I feel like we are pretty ahead of what most people are talking and teaching about, but even this is like, holy crap, I didn't know that this existed.
No, exactly
like,
what
crazy.
I was just gonna say. I feel like I'm an absolute beginner.
Yeah,
I mean, just the way that you just bring different tools together, like you go to one area, you pull the information from there, you take it to the next. Like, I don't know if I've ever thought through the application that way.
And I will tell you this, guys, we are at the era of AI being adopted, and we're going to figure out how to use it. And there's going to be people who say, I'm never going to use it. This is foolish. I'm just going to stay old school. You're going to have that person. You're going to have that person who's like, all right, I'll do it just to do listing descriptions. Oh, I got the thumbs up there. Hey, listing descriptions. All right. Look, see that? Don't y'all know about that, huh? But okay, so I'm going to use it to just do listing descriptions. So you maybe use it at a basic level. And then you've got some other people who are like, well, you know what? I'm going to use it, and you're going to have people who continue to use it at levels and higher levels, demonstrating using it at the absolute highest level. Like, you can take this and multiply your efforts. And I mean, it probably, once you know how to use this, it would take you 5-10 minutes to create everything that you just did, a listing presentation, an email that went out, a report, like all these things so quick. And that is the power of what AI can do for your business. It's not there to replace you, because it can never replace that human interaction, that like, it still has to prompt you, still have to tell it what to do. But this is a way for you to leverage that. And the people who get good at that now are going to be the ones who win in the next era of real estate. I am telling you, it's just like the people who never wanted to embrace third-party portals in the very beginning, or didn't want to embrace whatever the next technology was that didn't exist when they had started in business. If you learn to utilize these things and use it in your business, it will transform your business and you will be ahead of the curve. Don't wait till you're behind the curve to start learning it. You may can choose how much you want to implement it, but understand what is available to you, because that is going to be the secret sauce. That is how you are going to beat out the next people who are not even paying attention to this right now. Do one other plug quick, Barry. We've got a class that Barry teaches this Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's the showcase class. It's taught by him and Brittany Nicola. And so you heard him talk about some of those things like, hey, I show them this showcase example on how we're utilizing this. This is this Thursday at 12 p.m. He goes through how to utilize a service similar to the way that he did it today. He's going to blow your mind on the scripts and the way to talk about it, the benefits of it. Brittany has used this very successfully inside of her business, and will walk you through how to order it, how she displays it, how she uses it for open houses, and all of those things. And then if we could just throw a link in the chat to register for that, that would be fantastic. Perfect. Okay, so if you want to register that and see more of how Barry's utilizing tools to make the absolute best impression for himself and serve his consumers at the highest level, please tune in this Thursday, 12 p.m. With that being said, I'll turn it back over to you, Barry. Sorry, I didn't mean to hijack.
Yeah,
I wanted to,
no, you're good. You're good. Absolutely. Well, and I think as people are looking at this and they're like, wow, this is really neat. 10 years ago, I had 19 people in the Philippines helping me run my team. And when you're dealing with people in another country, primarily through text, you really have to be specific on what you need. And this is the last tool I'm going to give you guys. I'm using a tool called Whisper. It's WHISP, and there's no E, R. So it's really cool now, apparently, for software to misspell words, but it's Whisper without the E. It's on my desktop. It's on my phone. As a case in point, when it came time to work on this project, I went to ChatGPT. I went into the text box and I just held down my function key and I start talking. And you know, when you do talk to text, you have to say like period and exclamation point and comma and all that stuff. Whisper's AI reformats what you're saying. So I don't write emails anymore on my phone or on this. It takes my text and it formats it in a professional way. And so if you are struggling with what to do or what to work on next, just use talk to text. You don't have to use Whisper. There's a speech to text in ChatGPT as well. Not the conversational one. I'm talking about just the microphone. And you just say like, here are my struggles. Here are my issues. Function like a chief financial officer or function like the best team leader, mentor, coach in the industry. Here's my scenario. What should I be working on next? And just start to have that dialogue a little bit. I'm not saying you trust everything it says. But what I've come to realize is the value of dialoguing with someone or something that knows a lot about the subject. It gets your wheels spinning. And that honestly, like before I meet with an attorney, before I meet with my CPA, I've spent hours dialoguing and asking questions so that, you know, recently AI found $120,000 tax deduction for my 2025 taxes that I am over the moon excited about. And so I got this. I went to my CPA and said, hey, does this rationale make sense to you? And they're like, yeah, who told you this? I'm like, don't worry about it. So empowering your business is a fantastic way to run. So just wanted to add that last nugget.
Yeah, I love it, man. And again, I think that what you are really highlighting here is like you're talking specifically about these tools, and that's great because like, some people don't know they exist. Like I didn't know that these things existed before today. But what I will say is the methodology, the ideology that you really want to be embracing here is that there are tools that are coming into the market that can help you do your job faster, easier, you know, and you can use that benefit however you want. You can say, okay, well, because I'm doing this now in 20 seconds, it used to cost, take me 30 minutes. I'm going to do more of that. Maybe that's how you choose to use that benefit. Or you're going to say, hey, I'm going to take the rest of this 29 minutes and 40 seconds and go spend it however I choose to spend it because I'm more efficient. So however you choose to use those benefits is up to you. But this is what is going to transform your business. And I promise you, the people who are investing in this now, and you're not going to go out there and be an expert day one. Don't be overwhelmed. Just slowly start to implement some of these things in your business. And before you know it, you're going to be whizzing through these things so quick. And then the person who's never even, like all of us who never heard about most of this before we came on today, you're already light years ahead of them. So just continue to think about that thought. Every time you digest these things, every time you make it part of your business that's continual and consistent, you are putting yourself ahead of the competition and you will at some point bear fruit from that.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And I know we're over time, but I just finished my second book, Too Nice for Leadership. And the last third section of the book is, I believe, talking about AI. And this is going to be the next divide. The people that are hungry and want it are going to learn and execute at just a faster pace than the people that don't. And so what you're going to watch is problems are just going to accelerate and benefits are going to accelerate. People that are crushing it are going to crush it more. People that aren't. And so we just have to decide at LPT that we're going to be the group of professionals that decides I'm not going to be passive. I'm not just going to use AI to rewrite emails. I'm going to advance as a business owner in a way that other people couldn't a decade ago because I'm using this technology. And so it's a gold rush. I'm telling you, the opportunity's now.
Yeah, I love it. So if you enjoyed this, I think, Barry, someone was like, I need his entire schedule. We got to add you a little more frequently to the calendar. Maybe we do a class specifically about AI. If you are open to that, I'm sure there's a ton of people who could benefit from it. And maybe we call it Gold Rush. I love how you phrase that. Like, this is a gold rush. Like, The people who get there first will have the biggest pot. So thank you so much for your time today. I know you're incredibly busy. We appreciate you so much, brother.
Thanks, guys.
And with that being said, Louis, any final words?
No, I mean, we learned a lot today, right? We learned about a lot of different tools, a lot of different applications of how to use AI. And as you heard through the theme, like, don't let the AI rocket ship take off without you. You know, there is going to be a divide here in the next few years, in the next few months, very possibly. And if we allow that ship to take off, we will fall behind, you know, when it comes to being effective in our business and efficient in our business, and have fun with it. I mean, this was very fun. Like, just learning these new tools, it's fun to learn about. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, we will see you next week, Friday. This Monday, Motivational Monday. We will be there, of course, with Robert Palmer, founder and CEO. He's going to be breaking down the market. I'm not sure all that we're going to be going through on this Monday. I haven't got my pre-list. I normally get it Friday mornings. I haven't got it yet. But make sure you tune in to this Motivational Monday, where at the very least, going to be going through the Fed decision around the rates, how we're seeing that impact, how the conflict in the Middle East is then going to affect us here. And so we will keep you up to date on all of those things and how you should be facing your consumers. So with that being said, we will see you this Monday for Motivational Monday. Have a blessed and prosperous weekend. See you soon.